Hey guys, what's up? I hope you're having a great day. Welcome back to the new story of r/relationship advice. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for new future videos. Let's get started. Cheers.
Stories in today's video. 1. I caught my cheating wife with my brother in bed and now she is homeless and living in a car too. Have you ever caught your partner cheating? What was your reaction? How did you react initially? How did you overcome it? I don't know how to deal with this. This was actually almost 5 months ago. Yet I feel like I was stabbed in the heart 5 seconds ago. I'm a delivery driver for FedEx. So I'm never away from home. So why is wife always complaining that I'm away for too long? One day my brother tells me he wants to go on vacation. I'm like, where to? He wants to go snowboarding. That same day, wife tells me she's going on vacation with her friends. Of course I believed her. She left a day before brother did, so I thought I had nothing to worry about. I don't have any kids with wife yet. 2 weeks later, my neighbor told me my brother was holding hands with my wife. My brother is married. Somehow, his wife looks like my wife. I always found that weird. I thought since he was old, he mistakenly confused himself with my sister-in-law. I'm coming home from work one day, I go in my house. All I had in my mind was, I need a shower. Go to my room and I see my wife shirtless, literally sleeping next to my naked brother. I'm not a fighter. I never been in a fight before, but I grabbed his foot and yanked him off my bed. I start screaming at him. She wakes up and starts saying the typical female crap, it's not what it looks like. I learned they've been going at this for 2 years. After that scenario, I told his wife. This isn't the first person he cheated on her with, so she had enough. She started divorce procedures. I did the same. Wife begs me to forgive. I know why she wants a second chance. She'll be homeless. Ex-brother is homeless. I've been with my wife for 4 years. I don't believe in family anymore. My brother was the last relative I counted on. He can rot for all I care. I was warned. Don't marry American women. But I'm an American myself. But that American women are the most trifling human beings in the world. I believe that now. Comment 1. I was with you until the American woman part. Following your logic, all American men, so you and all *shum your brother, are cheaters. If only I hadn't married an American man, I wouldn't had my husband of 15 years run off with a 23-year Australian college student. Are you, a reportedly American man, a cheater? No, an American woman, I'm not either. Even 18 months after he left, I'm not even entertaining imagining another relationship until I'm finally legally divorced. And it's not because I don't have attractive men flirting with me. It's only slightly increased since I stopped wearing the wedding ring from my estranged husband. I could have easily found many willing partners if I wanted to all throughout my marriage. I'm not an expert in cheating. I'm not a cheater and never want to really understand what drives them. And I can't imagine the horror of seeing your wife in bed with your own brother. But they cheated because they are selfish, broken, unhealthy people, not because of their nationality. Comment 2. I was cheated on by my wife and I've never cheated on her or thought about it. I tried to figure out what caused her to cheat. Years later I came to the conclusion that she's just not a very good person. We divorced and she's cheated on every person she's been with. We have 2 children together that suffered as I did, but she seemed to have enjoyed her freedom. Years later she tried to apologize and say she's cried many times over it and has lot of regret. I still don't forgive her and I never will. It took me years to find a small amount of happiness. I'm with a good person now that I try to trust with all my heart, but sometimes doubt slips in and I'll push it out. I'm not living my life wondering what she's doing or if she's cheating because she's never given me a reason and she doesn't deserve it from me. She's even told me when my friends have made *SSES at her. I dropped them as friends instantly. It took me years to love again and to love myself and to stop blaming myself for her cheating. Like you, I had plenty of opportunities to cheat on her. I was flirted with and told I'm very handsome on a daily basis. She was big when I married her and she lost weight and I think the compliments went to her head, but no excuse to cheat. I was devastated and cried for years. I'm happy to have read there's still good women in this world like you. I wish I had learned to open up and share my feelings years ago instead of suffering in silence and inside a bottle for several years. I realized it made things worse. I hope you meet the right person and fall madly in love. Sending huge hugs your way. Comment 3. First, let me say that this is terrible, a stab to the heart, and no wonder you still feel pain when you think about it. You really got betrayed twice by your brother and by your wife. So the relationship is dead for both, and now you have to decide if you want to rebuild either from the ashes of the old. Now the wife did tell you what her problem was. She loves attention. This, coupled with insecurities and stress, made her seek that attention with your brother, who is also in the same category. See his cheating before. He was also close and near, so he was the perfect partner for her. I would also assume that both of you have similar looks, so there is that. When she received the attention, and this probably started happening when she complained to you about not getting enough attention from you, she reciprocated that attention, and the dopamine and endorphins were released in her brain, which is the goal for cheaters in the first place. They get high off of that pleasure hormone release. All of this escalates because they want more and more dopamine until it becomes physical. Once it becomes physical, then the relationship part of this starts. First they are in the pleasure fog, then the oxytocin release, or the intimacy, trust, and love hormone is being released. So you are absolutely right in your statement that she wants the relationship with you to continue because she wants to retain her security and comfort. I hope you tied some serious conditions on reconciliation if you were so inclined, because if you do not get her help in the form of IC, she will do this again and again in the future. If she refuses, I hope you called this whole thing quits. Thing quits. Thing quits. Thing. We were married 16 years and together 19 years. 2 kids, a house, a dog. Living the dream, or so I thought. Sure, we were running around driving kids to hockey and soccer, etc., and there was not much alone time. But from all the people I knew, with kids our age, this seems to be the situation that everyone was in. He just turned off one day. Now he had been depressed before when his mom was overcome by Alzheimer's and had to be moved into a facility, and my husband never really full recovered from that. I gave him space. This time he came to me and said he was broken, and going to a therapist. I asked if we should go to couples therapy. He said yes. I asked him if there was anyone else. He said no. I believed him at first. This was Labor Day 2016. Things weren't adding up. I asked him in couples therapy if there was someone else, and he said no again. All they wanted was to get divorced. This went on for a month or two. Going to therapy, not really making any progress. The therapist called it limbo. I lost 20 pounds in that month or two and couldn't sleep. Finally he told me that he got drunk at a work conference and gave a girl a fellatio, but I kept my pants on. Now mind you, he's a vice president at her software company. At this point I told him I was upset, devastated, but I was willing to work through it. I loved him and still wanted to grow old and gray with him. And that we should get back into therapy. I found us a different therapist, one that my personal therapist recommended. I set the first meeting up for January 2, 2017. My therapist told me to just get through the holidays. This was November time frame now. In early December I realized that he was done with our marriage and didn't really want to work on fixing it. I also realized that he is lying to me about his affair. I then received a Facebook message from the husband of the woman that he had an affair with. Then I was referred to contact a PI, and I discovered several phone calls and text messages back and forth. I found out it was full on S*** several times over the course of several months. I came home that night and confronted him, not yelling, just stating facts. He refused to confess. I told him what the PI had showed me. He said, "You're going to believe the word of a stranger over me?" And I said yes, because I had series of pictures of their texts. But the story doesn't end there. The next morning my husband comes up from the basement. I asked him leave our bed after the encounter, so he was sleeping in our basement. He came up that morning and his defenses were down. He was no longer angry at me. He was himself again, is the best way to explain it. He felt bad for me. He went with me to get checked for STDs. I had none, that God. I felt like we were a team again. We sat down and had a long talk. I wanted to try and make it work and she didn't. It's now just before Xmas. From I got the timeline of my husband's and the other woman's affair, and the timing didn't match up to my husband's total shut down in August of 2016. So I knew there was more. I asked him. He denied anything else. I contacted the PI and looked into her emails and found the second affair. This a woman that worked directly for him. She was married and had 2 kids. The only good thing was that she lived in Pittsburgh and we live in Boston. So I never had to see her around town or anything like that. She's the total opposite of me. I sat on this information through Xmas. On New Year's Eve morning, I told my husband found his email and I knew about the woman that worked for him. He said he loved her and wasn't that upset. If anything, he was relieved. I think the lying to me was tough on him. I told him to leave our house. We didn't have the money. I had been at home with the kids for 2 years. So I needed to get a job to make it work financially. I started my job at the end of January and I threw his cheating fat *SS out of our house. We went to mediation. I got the house. We split the kids 50-50. It's been tough on our youngest and I feel bad about that. I hope he feels worse. The lies and betrayals and cheating really hurt. It hurt my ego and my sense of self. But I'm in a good place now. The nightmare is over. I feel like myself again.